Stories tonight. Purported hike of fuel pump price. Motorists lament scarcity of commodity. Police denies abduction of passengers in Katsina. Plus, correspondent takes a look at health implications of snoring. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Nta Abeokuta channel of News. My name is the news in detail. Minister of Resources, Timmy Silver, has denied the purported increase in the pump price of petrol. He cleared the air while addressing newsmen in Lagos. The Nta reports.
Many Nigerians woke up to the disturbing news that there is an upward review in the pump price of petrol. The purported increase, announced by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA), placed the new regime between 209 naira 61 kobo and 212 naira 61 kobo price band. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timmy Silva, said neither the president, as the substantive minister of Petroleum Resources, nor himself approved any odd review in the pump price of petrol, while stating that the federal government is not going back on full deregulation of the downstream oil sector. The minister said any change in pump price would only be decided after due consultation with all stakeholders.
The price of crude oil has gone up, which might inevitably lead to price increase at the pump, but this cannot happen before the negotiations with labor and all stakeholders has been concluded.
He therefore called on fuel marketers to maintain status quo and refrain from hoarding or creating artificial scarcity of the product. Meanwhile, despite his warning, there were long queues of vehicles at fuel service stations across Lagos metropolis, spurred by the purported price hike in Lagos. Adini Taiwo, NTA News.
And still on purported hike in pump price of petrol, motorists in Lagos are facing hectic time getting fuel at filling stations following the rumor of increase in pump price despite federal government denying it. Mike Olaleyo went round the metropolis for on-the-spot assessment. His report.
The initial tension generated by the purported hike has subsided, but getting the commodity at the regulated price of 162 naira has become an issue. This is because most filling stations earlier dispensing the product are deserted even after the federal government dissociated itself from any new pump price. For the few ones still dispensing, it is at an unbearable cost to motorists.
It's been so hectic, and even today getting fuel, you go extra mile giving them money before they sell fuel for you, which is very, very bad.
Sheun Adegboyega's livelihood depends on the availability and affordability of the product. And despite the fact that petrol still stands at 162 naira per litre, he has started having a shortfall in his business.
I was not able to work because I can't get fuel of like 4K to get the sum of 15K. At the end of the day, come get like 3,000.
The scramble for fuel has also resulted in traffic buildup, leaving most motorists with no option than to navigate through the little margin left by vehicles on queue.
The exchange rate is high. The two that you bring this in very expensive. You understand me? And there's no way you can sell below around this thing and make profit. And again, the few stations of government that are selling at 162, how many of them? You can't serve the populace.
Residents are optimistic that the situation will definitely return to normal, with certainty that an impending hike is not on the card of the regulatory agency. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
The Office of the National Security Advisor has debunked media reports alleging misappropriation of funds meant for armed forces equipment. A statement from the Office of the NSA says the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongono, was quoted out of context as it did not categorically say that funds meant for armed procurement were missing under the former service chiefs, as reported or transcribed by some media outlets. The statement stressed that President Buhari has provided enormous resources for arms procurement, but were either inadequate or yet to be delivered, and that did not imply that the funds were misappropriated under the former regimes. Conflict has been identified as one of the causes. The United Nations has called for a concerted effort in ending the hunger crisis affecting millions around the world. Secretary General Antonio Guterres said this during a video conference in New York. Adebola Brookston Sunday reports.
Identifying conflicts as one of the causes of hunger globally, the UN chief Antonio Guterres announced the establishment of a high-level task force on preventing famine, which he said will include representatives from World Food Programme and United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. The high-level task force, he emphasized, will bring a coordinated attention to famine prevention and mobilize support to the most affected countries.
I urge all states to make ending conflict not simply mitigating its impact a key foreign policy priority. And I call on Council members to use your privileged position to do everything in your power to end violence, negotiate peace, and alleviate the hunger and suffering that afflicts so many millions of people around the world.
The UN scribe recalled that at the end of last year, more than 88 million people suffered from acute hunger due to conflicts and instability. Adebola Brookston Sunday, NTA News.
The Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission is building the capacity of selected scientists for the country as it is to acquire a multi-purpose research reactors. Adebola Brookston Sunday reports that the reactors will be a rallying point for the conduct of research and training in nuclear technology.
These are nuclear scientists drawn from all parts of the country to participate in the technical meeting towards creating the best ways to put the equipment and facilities into efficient and optimal use. Acting chairman of the commission, Mukhtar Ali, sensitizing participants on recent developments at the center, urged them to take advantage of available research opportunities.
As well as production of medical radioisotopes. This production of medical radioisotopes is going to go a long way in helping our hospitals, especially where treatment of cancer and other tumors is required. The Commission is always willing and ready to collaborate with relevant stakeholders in order to jointly achieve set goals for the attainment of national objectives.
The multipurpose laboratory for nuclear instrumentation, nuclear safety and security laboratory is now fully equipped.
The center is one of the 6 nuclear energy research centers under the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, which has the mandate to develop capacity for the peaceful utilization of atomic energy for socio-economic development of the nation. Adebola Brookston Sunday, NTA News.
This is the news at 7 on Nta Abeokuta Channel 12. More news after the break. Stay with us.
Ó dẹ̀ rọrùn fún mi láti máa ṣorin fún yín. Ṣé mọ̀ kó tó wá rọrùn fún mi jù láti ṣe àsopọ̀ NIN mi àti ẹ̀ka ìpè Glo mi. Mo lè mú ẹ̀rọ ìpè mi kí n dẹ̀ tẹ *109*NIN# tàbí kí n pe 109 kí n dẹ̀ tẹ̀lé àwọn ìfilọ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀. Tí kò bá wù mí láti pè, mo lè tẹ àtẹ̀ránṣẹ́ NIN mi sí 109. Mo lè kàn sórí glowworld.com/NIN. Tó bá dẹ̀ gbàgbé NIN rẹ̀, tẹ *346# láti rí gbà padà. Ẹlòmíì dẹ̀ tún lè béèrè tí ìbá ní NIN kọ́ tó lè yan fanda wọ èyíkéyìí Glo World tó súnmọ́ ẹ jù. Má jẹ́ kán já ẹ̀ka ìpè Glo rẹ o, nítorí àwọn àǹfààní tó pọ̀ tí ìpè àti data látọwọ́ Glo àti so NIN rẹ pọ̀.
Welcome back. Katsina State Police Command has denied a report of purported midnight abduction of scores of passengers along Kankara on their way to Sokoto for Malut celebration. Reacting on the purported kidnap, as reported by some major newspapers in the country, the command's public relations officer, SP Gambo Issa, described the abduction story as false and unfounded. SP Gambo Issa, who spoke to correspondent Shiu Adamu on telephone, said there was nothing like abduction but apprehension as the 40 passengers traveling midnight got information from the villagers that suspected bandits mounted roadblock. According to the PPRO, the information necessitated the drivers of the vehicles, comprising 2 Hummer buses and 1 Gulf wagon car, to park at one village and the passengers alongside, while the drivers scampered for safety. SP Gambo Issa said all the 40 passengers arrived safely. It could be irritating and unbearable to have a sleeping partner that snores. No, some relationships are broken for the same reason. The good news, experts say, is that it can be managed or treated. Fortunate Uzo, who spoke with some people within the week in Ebonyi State, has something more to reveal about the condition.
Snoring is noisy breathing or a grunting sound one makes while sleeping. Although it is a common condition that can affect anyone, it is more in men and those who are overweight. Snoring is not usually a serious problem, but mostly a nuisance for someone's bed partner. A long-term snorer can disrupt the sleep patterns of those close to him and also hurt his own sleep quality. How does it feel to have a snoring partner, and how do snorers see the condition?
When I take 1 or 2 liquors of 3310, or as the case may be, Budweiser, if I go to have a short snap, I will snore, definitely.
If I worked hard in the daytime and maybe during night hours, if I go to bed, normally I will snore because I went to bed tired.
And for me even to know that I snore is because I was told that I snore when I'm sleeping. My wife told me.
I find it very difficult and very uncomfortable to stay around somebody who snores.
I've been opportunity to see someone that snores, I must say is irritating.
Why do some people snore and others don't? And how can it be managed or treated?
We look at obesity, we look at weakness of the muscles, soft tissues, we look at abnormalities of the skeletal area. We also now look at things like positioning. So the first thing is to reduce your weight reduction. The second thing we can do is to begin to carry out regular exercise. Now, you can also exercise the muscles of your throat. You can also exercise the tongue. When I coil my tongue, when I coil it, I'm exercising that muscle. You'll also notice that most times singers, musicians don't snore. Most of them don't snore, except some of them that are very obese.
Since snoring occurs when the flow of air through the mouth and nose is blocked, it is advised that people will adhere to the stipulated measures of its management and treatment to enable them and their loved ones get a good night's sleep. In Abakaliki, Fortunate Ozo, NTA News.
They can be found in the front lines fighting security threats or responding to the pandemic, and even making strides in areas previously considered men-dominated professions. But with the world celebrating women's achievements and calling for their increased participation in world affairs, more women are blazing the trail in what is now the new world, the new normal. Defense correspondent Najatsu Tichani reports.
Women of war, but more importantly, women playing role in what has been considered a male-dominated profession for decades. With the 2021 International Women's Day seeking to increase inclusiveness and women equal participation in leadership, the Nigerian military already seems to be 20 paces ahead. Brigadier General Thomas is the gender advisor of the Nigerian military. She says leadership opportunities have always existed for women within the military.
The Nigerian military avails female personnel the opportunity to be whatever they intend to achieve while in the service. We have Nigerian Army Women Corps, which was established in March 2018. In the Nigerian Navy, female personnel are deployed as engineers, navigators, and other areas of ship maintenance. Also, the Nigerian Air Force Women of War was established in 2018 to boost air operations across the country.
For Major Roselyn Agwe of the Nigerian Army Women's Corps, an elite corps within the Nigerian Army, and her counterparts in other arms of the military, there can be no room for error, regardless of gender.
Our mission is to professionally responsive in the operational engagements.
We carry out offensive patrol along the express road to build the confidence of the commuters and also to deny the enemy freedom of action on the highway.
Not only are they combat ready, but they are equipped with skills to perform their duties to the highest standards, whether on the sea or in the air.
We've actually been able to conquer by being the best we could be, especially when you have to compete favorably among your male counterparts.
I hope to achieve the greatest heights in the ranks, and hopefully one day I'll be Chief of Air Staff.
And are also venturing into professions considered unusual as more organizations give equal opportunities to women. Meet Ife Oluwa, a graduate of mass communication who is currently one of 2 female drivers
to any part in Nigeria. I've actually been to Kogi, Enugu, Nasarawa, Jos, Bauchi.
Let's now take a look at the weather picture for tomorrow.
Favorable rainfall activities over places within latitude 10 degrees north of the ITD. And for Sunday weather, the southern cities should be mostly cloudy with good prospects of morning rains over parts of Port Harcourt, Calabar, Yenagoa, and Eket. While residents of the north and central region will see lots of sunshine with patches of clouds, except for parts of Sokoto, Gusau, and Katsina axis, where dust haze conditions is going to be observed. The afternoon and evening hours over the central shows cloud buildup with chances of thunderstorms over parts of Abuja, Makurdi, Ilorin, and the Mambila Plateau. Bulk of the weather activities should be seen within the southern cities, the inland areas of the south, down to the coastal belt. And that's it from this end. I'll see you again.
That wraps up Channel 12 News tonight. I'm Anila Balogo. Thanks for being there.